So here are just some general tips for how to stealthily and just to play Metal Gear Solid 5 without having too much trouble or anything. The first thing I'm doing here is showing you that there is an effective range, and it even says effective range for my pistol. I'm using the WUS pistol, or whatever it is, the tranquilizer pistol. I have a rank 2 suppressor on it, which gives me about 30 shots. As you see here, this guy is over 50 meters away, so I have to aim slightly above his head to actually hit him in a headshot, because the bullet, the tranquilizer dart, will fall down as it gets further away. 40 is roughly the green dot. 50, that's when it starts to be a little bit of a problem. Now here I'm going to show you that the suppressor I'm using, it is a rank 2 I have on both these guns. The primary now with the assault rifle also has a rank 2, so shooting it, I have 30 bullets until it wears out. You'll see I go from 40 to 10 in the clip. I've used up 30, I have now used up my suppressor. If I shoot my gun unsuppressed, it will alert the enemies to my present. So I'm going to be careful with that, because if I alert them to my present, they'll start to look for me in alert phase. Now this part is about just knowing what you want to do, placing out your own path. As you see here, the enemy is brought into alert mode, not because I fired my gun, but because my buddy, Quiet, accidentally ran over a landmine, detonating it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just look at the enemies to scan them and see which ones do I want to take with me, which ones do I want to leave behind. And I'm going to want to have a general idea of my path, my route, what I'm going to take. I'm feeling out the area. I'm checking to see where guns are placed, anything like that, the enemies, where they're moving. Unfortunately, because of Quiet's detonation of that mine, they're now in alert mode, so they're going to be looking for her and actually moving around erratically. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set some objectives, or markers in this case, for who I want to take with me to Mother Base, like that. Now, as this part suggests, you want to know your buddy. You want to know what your buddy that you bring into combat with is capable of, be it D-Walker, D-Dog, Quiet, D-Horse, whichever. I'm using Quiet currently, and I usually use her for most of the situations. As you'll see, I don't tell her to fire at that guy because he's wearing a helmet. If he's to hit her, or if she's to hit him, he will become aware of her. So I have her take out this guy, which will then alert the guy behind him or in front. There we go, in front. Depth perception was off there because the video is very small on my screen that I'm previewing it on right now. So now he's going to look around to see what's going on. Now, other guys are looking around. I'm going to try to take out as many as possible before she has to start shooting at people with the helmet. With many enemies down, I finally have her shoot on one of the guys with a helmet. This will alert the entire enemy force to the presence of a sniper. Now, this presents a new challenge because they will be shooting at her. And I want to protect her because you should protect your buddies. It not only helps your, finger quotes, relationship with them, but it'll help you maintain a better way of them, taking out people. If they get too damaged, they get exfiltrated from the hot zone. So what I do is I move her to a different location. That way they won't know where she's shooting from, and she stays safe. Now, whether you're playing lethally or non-lethally, what you want to do is remove the threat. As a non-lethal play, what this entitles me running up to the sleeping soldiers, kicking them or extracting them, and telling them to put their arms up. Because if they're in a surrendered position, they won't attempt to attack me unless I trigger an alert mode. You have arrived at your destination. Having missed a single soldier, I'm going to have to sneak up behind him and make sure that he doesn't awake or alert any other guards, so I am completely safe. I'm doing this because I was going to do something else, but it did not work. So what I do is I hold him up and I tell him to get on the ground into a surrendered position. Fairly easy, simple trick. As long as you know your equipment, you should be able to do this just fine. As I'm about to show you here, what you want to do is unlock delivery points. Just scout around the map at the more major areas and you'll find these little orange pads that have a invoice on the little sign there. You can see it on the right of the screen for a moment there. Once you have done this, hold down Y on the Xbox One, or triangle I believe on the PS3 or 4, and you can go to any of these points. I have unlocked all of them in the game, and you can travel between it. It allows you to travel quickly between each area, such as the relay base, which I will be going to, but going to it also cuts out your time during a mission, so it'll allow you to get higher points for completing the mission faster. Now, using everything to your advantage is fairly simple. As you'll see, this truck is now heading towards me. Not being able to move these guys or make them surrender, I jump over the fence and I use this tiny amount of cover to my advantage. I'm going to slowly crawl forwards to a point where they won't be able to see me and wait for them to get out of the truck to inspect the guys that are unconscious on the ground. Knowing that I have enough time, I then shoot them both in the head. I hit this guy's hand by accident, so that's actually something you want to look out for. And I make sure these two don't do anything else. Having this area now secured for myself, I have quiet take down any other threats that might come into the area, such as these two wandering guards down here.
Fire.
What I'm going to do here is show you how to use the game's mechanics extremely to your advantage now. You want to limit the enemy's visibility. What you do is turn off the power generator. Sometimes, normally actually, you'll get a message and they'll say, go check it out. Unfortunately, I didn't get that message because I was going to draw those guys over to the generator and then have them surrender as well. But with their visibility limited, I am now free to run across this bridge and get actually very close to them before taking them down as well. You'll notice here, I don't draw my gun and have the guy surrender immediately. Instead, what I do is I use a CQC takedown. The CQC takedown is completely silent and will not alert that guy to my presence. Otherwise, he would have spotted me immediately. Now, what I mean by know your sounds is know how far you can walk around an enemy before they spot you. You'll notice I'm walking around this guy rather gingerly. Now, I blow out my gun and I walk towards him to prove a point. If you notice there, the exclamation mark appeared and then I held him up afterwards. If I didn't do that, he would have turned around and spotted me. The reason why that happened is because I'm using the sneak suit, which completely removes all sound when prone walking, like I am now. The thing is once you pull your weapon up and you start moving, you move slightly faster, meaning you're going to generate more sound. Now these two have awoken, so I'm going to have Quiet take them out again before they discover anyone else, because you want to make sure your surroundings are completely known to you and that no one gets you.
Fire.
Knowing what your enemy is going to do is very important. Such as if you watch the little arrow above this guy's head, he's not going to give up. So what I do is I punch him, and then I immediately hold down the left trigger, or L2 I believe, on standard controls, which then allow me to draw my weapon and hold him up immediately, making sure he stays down, rather than getting up or turning around trying to knife me if I don't do that. So this is both literal and metaphorical. You want to create your own openings to allow yourself the most of your abilities. That's an anti-air radar. There's one in just about every base, bigger base at least. If you take down the anti-air radar, you actually give yourself a new area to exfiltrate by copter. And that is what this is. As I have just called in the helicopter to come into the base to take me out. With all the enemies suppressed, I have no fear of the anti-air. And with that anti-air radar out of the way, I'm actually able to bring the helicopter in. Well, that's it for my little tips. Thanks for watching.